Alrighty. Sorry, it took me a minute. I am like really tired for some reason. Don't know why. But with further ado, let's get the show on the road. We'll wait for the announcements until last. Excuse the way my voice sounds. It's been like this for a couple of days. I don't know why. But oh goodness, I am so tired. I'm ready for bed. And it's only 8:30. I'm so ready for bed. Like I feel so drained. I got so much done today. Like I deep cleaned my living room, which was probably not the brightest idea that I had today. So I seem a little spacey and off. That's the reason why. The Lottery House, which is in New Orleans. Now you've ever heard of it? It's a famous house, of course, but just reading through my notes. All right, so Madame Delphine was the owner of the mansion. So she grew up. She was really sweet and loving and caring during her early childhood, and then she grew up, and that's when she became the um, known as the cruel mistress of the haunted house. So yeah, it is. Like I said, it's in New Orleans, and from the looks of it, it's on like corner spot. I've never been there. Have I been like near that location? Yes. When I was really, really, really young. So, and in the spring of 1834 was it had a fire. So like the mansion itself had a fire. They had to rebuild it and everything. And during like the blaze, it was noticed that thanks, Jerry, it revealed the horrifying truth of the living conditions of the number of slaves she had. So she was really cruel to her slaves, like absolutely cruel to her slaves. She didn't care. I have no idea why he's barking. So if you hear a dog barking, I'm so sorry. Like they were starved, they were beaten, they were tortured. And then supposedly a slave had set the mansion ablaze because they were tired of the abuse and all that other good jazz. It, it said that this particular slave was chained in the kitchen and in an attempt to expose the way that she and others were being treated. So Miss Laurie fled the scene with her family. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining. So it's got a long and rich history. It is said that it is haunted by the ghost of the people that she ended up alternately unaliving. Um, so soon after the fire, the house was converted into an apartment complex, and as tenant was murdered, and somebody was unalived in the units. The unusual nature of his death suggested ties to the paranormal activity. Even spookier, in the mid 19th century, the Lowerly Mansion functioned as an all-girls school where students often over over often experience bizarre and random physical assaults. Today, the Lowerly House is as a Stanley as it is possible. Spooky. And it is one of New York's most ionic landmarks. Let me see if I can look through my notes here and see if I can find when it was born. Like I said, I've had a very long day, so I'm kind of tired. Kind of tired. So how I got discovered of like everything happening is when firefighters were trying to get the slaves out or anybody out is when they discovered the uh, torture chamber. All right, so as we know, she was cool and evil, and the slave that I'm listening to what's going on out there in my living room. Hello. So the person that set the fire begged and begged and begged and begged and begged and begged and begged to have them go look into this apartment because all she had dismembered her victims, and then she would put like things together, sew them back. It says she ended up cutting like out the smaller spots. And then while we're renovating the house itself, people found a lot more skeletons underneath the floorboards. She did this so she wouldn't get in trouble. And they couldn't tie everything back to her. So, yeah. I'm not going to be on very long tonight, as you guys can hear probably, because my voice is starting to really go out. Um, and not to mention, I am exhausted for some reason. Next is the another famous location that we all come to know, the enemy rule house horror. And it said that the guy, there was a guy that killed the family. I think it was the son. But he would wake up exactly at 3 o'clock every day. So, okay, I can't do this tonight. I'm so sorry. I am trying. Doing a dog barking. My voice really going to start to go out. And me, like, losing my train of thought constantly because I'm so tired for some reason. Which is really weird. I shouldn't be tired. I'll be right back. I'm going to get something to snack on. Alright. Let's see if I can actually do this now. Because like I said earlier, I feel really wore out. And as you can tell, my voice is really like, ugh. So the Amityville Horror House is located in New York. And where did it go? My notes are all over the place still. But hey, it wouldn't be me if I wasn't organized every week, right? Yeah. Long Island, New York. So originally it was on 112 Ocean Avenue, but they just have changed that because with the movies and everything that came out because of what happened at the house, and we'll get into that. They had to change things up, so now the address is not 112 Ocean Avenue. We all know and love, or not love, but we all know about the unalivings that took place in the early 70s, or mid 70s actually, because it made the headlines. It was not normal for this to happen. So it happened on November 13th of 1974 when Ronald D. Bell told six people, his parents and siblings, John, Allison, Mark, and John. And then when he confessed to his deeds, the defense would later admit to the enter a insanity plea. He was guided by an malevolent voices in his head and couldn't control his actions. So that's what happened in that house. Now, who's to say that he wasn't telling the truth? No one will actually know because, that's what he says. Did the insanity plea because every day, like clockwork, 3 a.m. rolled around and he was waking up for some reason or another. He was hearing the voices in his head. It was claiming it was just claiming that what sparked up the whole this place is haunted type thing because they was hearing the voices and everything. So when they started looking into his background and his life, they found an alternative reading of the events that happened. And they had an abusive father, a possessive mother, voiced troubled childhood, led to substance abuse as an adult. He not only lashed out at his father, but once even threatened him with a pew pew. And then they hoped letting him have live at home and with a weekly stipend would help. He could not hold a job down. So in the day of question, they were all sleeping in their beds when that happened. And it was I think it was a 38, oh, 0.35 Kelvin. So after he did what he did, he went to the bar, got home around 6:30, got through the door, and yelled, "You have to help me. I believe my mother and father have been." Hmm. Now, this is um, really a messed up one because you think about it the way I've thought about this case over the years is Could it be something malevolent? Yes, it could be. But it could have also been schizophrenia, too, at the same time. Who knows? He had threatened his father with the pew pew. He was a defiant person, got into substance abuses. So who knows exactly what was going on in his head? We don't know. And when the authorities got there, they found all six members dead except for him, and they were shot with the pew that was around 3:15 a.m. and then positioned on their stomachs. So they were flipped like face down on their stomachs. There was no signs of struggles, nor they were drugged. Local reports of gunshots were heard, with only the DeFeo family dog barking away. Now, I'm pretty sure we've all seen the movie on this thing. It's a really good movie. I love it. It's one of my favorite horror movies. I watch it every year around Halloween time. And it always struck me as odd. It seemed like it would go for like the weakest link in the family. He changed his alibi several different times, from claiming he was at the bar during the time of the unalivings to mob hitman Louise killing unaliving the family while forcing DeFeo to watch. He eventually confessed that he gunned his family down and stood trial on October 14th of 75. The though attorney Though the attorneys tried to enter an insanity plea, the prosecution argued Feo was a mere drug addict who was well aware of what he was doing that night. He was convicted on 6 counts of second-degree murder, unalivings, and sentenced to second or six consecutive sentences of 25 years. So actually, the house was not built until after they moved in. So that was the story of the original, very first unalivings of the Amityville Horror. So now we get on to the Lutz family. That's the one that we've seen movies about, I believe. I know the movie that I have of this house is about the Lutz family, and it is mentioned something in there about like the unalivings in the building itself. When they got into the home, they started reportedly. So when they ended up moving in, it's purpose that the haunting started happening again. Good evening. If I seem a little off tonight, again, I'm so sorry. I will keep saying this throughout the rest of the time. Is I'm exhausted. This heat in Indiana is no joke right now. Um, I just feel really drained. I ended up deep cleaning my living room today, so yeah, didn't help at all. And then we all know, hi, I'm Linda, And as you can see, I am the paranormal historian. Hi, honey. I don't know if you heard, but yeah, I'm this heat here in Indiana is no joke. So I'm kind of like dragging tonight. But Sue, if I pronounced your name right, I am Linda. This is Haunted Memoirs. I do the show every Saturday night from 8:30 to 9:30. I pick two different locations in the United States and just tell everybody about the locations, read the history, the research, the folklore, the stories, everything. And right now we are doing the Manuel Horror House, which is in Long Island, New York. There was a family that was in it was named the Oh my gosh, I cannot. See, I told you, I am so exhausted. I was right, the Feo family. The oldest son, ended up unaliving six of his family members, and then the Lutz family moved in of 75, and that's when everything started back up again. So the house was dormant for a long period of time before the Lutz family actually had it, and then that's when it was portrayed that the activity had started back up again. And yes, I'm snacking while doing this show tonight because I got to stay awake. So the Lutz family had a lot of stuff going on, reportedly, from green ooze climbing down the walls, eyes peering into the home, to foul orders, and then it is said that Kathy, which is the new owner, Kathy Lutz, and her husband, but Kathy levitating in her bed, and it was a rather tough, tough month for George, because he would wake up at 3:15 exactly each night, and that was the time that the DeFeo family had been unalived. So an author had went through and made a book based on the true stories and events that happened at the house itself, and then that led to the movie with the same name as the book, and then it was all redone in 2005. It was a bestseller, and then the film grew more into class. So George always believed, thought it was paranormal. So he looked into it, and then he started wanting to sell his story to the news outlets because they would have ate it up. So one of the three children, Lutz children, Christopher, confirmed that the haunting happened. And then he also said that the events were exaggerated by his stepfather, George. George wanted to sell his story to the media outlets, but due to financial reasons, he could not sell his story to the media because he was in severe debt. And then, whatever the family's attorney said, the haunting was all just a hoax, which he purportedly conjured up with Anson while driving. So, with that being said, they moved out after 28 days of being in the home. After that, that's what it is, a house. Nobody else has moved into it. It has been laying dormant. Yes, the address changed, but it still didn't stop the public from actually coming in or wanting to go inside the home. They would stop by, even though, like I said, the address had been changed. Um, it's a beautiful home, even though it says dormant and empty. Um, it's 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, and a boathouse on the canal off of the lake, Long Island, and the house commanded a high price and attract wealthy buyers. Despite its appeal, after the Lutz family moved out, it went into foreclosure in 1977. So when the new owners bought it in 77, they changed the address from 112 to 108, hoping to steer away anybody from coming and staying, like stopping from flocks of people coming in to wanting to come into the home or come into the home. They lived in there for over a decade without any incident, so they decided to go ahead and sell it. And then it went to Peter and Janine O'Neill in '87. The O'Neill sold it in 1997 to Brian Wilson, not the Beach Boys singer. Most recently, the house sold for 600,000, 5,000, and that was back in 2017. As for the New Jersey home used in the 1930s in the movie, So the home that was used in the film was already on the market, and it went from 1.45 million to 1.35 million. When Vergasco put when she put it on the when a woman put it on the market, they reportedly asked her right away, "Is it haunted?" She explained that ghosts had nothing to do with the cell, and that she was merely divorcing her husband. And then she asked, had seen the famous film, explained that she only saw parts of it, that her children see it constantly, in quotation marks. Thank you, David. So that was an animated horror house along with the Lolori house. Like I said, tonight was going to be a little bit shorter because I'm just feeling drained. But we can hang out for a couple more minutes here. But those were the two locations. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask me about any of them because then I will just look it up if I miss something. Um, it's been one of those weeks and been a long couple of days. I am, like I said, ready for bed. But exciting news, if you guys have not seen, I have to fix the. It wouldn't be me if I had some kind of technical difficulty, huh? So I gotta fix it though, but some exciting news. I hate how I have to have my camera a certain way for it to work. Let's go here. Let's hi. Edit. Sorry, I am actually in the process of redoing my banner. There we go. So as we know, I am the host for Para Unity 7 down in oh, um Peru, Indiana. I am super excited and happy to say that we are completely full on the inside. Oh my gosh, I am so thankful for everyone that has signed up. Um, with that being said, if you have signed up and you haven't paid yet, please get that payment into us as soon as possible. I really don't want to have to try hunting everybody down just to get a payment. But if you have already paid, do not pay. Rest assured, we do have a list going of who has paid and who has not paid. Um, Me and Peppy do have another show, and that's coming up next month at the Miami County Fairgrounds. Um, we are booked up for the rest of this year. I'm super stoked, like really stoked, and I'm super stoked about these cookies because they're homemade chocolate chip cookies. Mm. I'm like super stoked though because I can't wait for everybody to see the fresh and new ideas that we have come up with for Unity this year. So now we got to figure out what locations we're going to do next week. I have about 15 minutes left. Hmm. Okay. Somebody pick a number between 1 and 300. Hmm. Okay. Let me see if I don't know if I've done that one yet or not. Give me 1 second, guys. 77. Hi, Jill. Okay, let me pick up that one. I chose one and I'm going to do the Rose Hotel, but let me get 77 out because I've already done 200, Aunt Carissa. All right, Jill, you picked the Die House. So, got next week's locations, guys. I'm super stoked about that. We have about 5 minutes. Um, I lost my train of thought, guys. But that's not hard for me to do. We all know this, and you can ask Jeremy, he'll tell you. So, again, just to reiterate, we have the Die House and the Rose Hotel next week. And then Pair Unity number 7. I am the host, as we all know. We are full on the inside, but we are still taking forms for the outside. So, if you're interested, please fill out the form. Just to let you know, it is outside only. But if we have any cancellations for inside, then we will be happy to move you inside if we have any space available at that time. Me and Peppy will be at the Miami County Fairgrounds next Saturday to do the Fall Arts and Market. And then we have like events the rest of this year. And then October we have back-to-back events. We have one weekend, and the next weekend we have Air Unity. So we're gonna be very busy for the next few months. And I'm super excited. We did go to the Hannah House, and it was so much fun. It was hot, but it was worth every bit of the time that I was there. I was so happy to be there. I made talk to quite a few people. My kids got to explore and see what everything was, bigger than what they were when they first went. So okay, just so you know, like in the beginning of the show, I was like completely Space Cadet. Literally Space Cadet, because I don't know what it is. I think it's the heat because I've been outside most of the day. So I felt really drained. And then like my head started hurting really bad. Yes, it's always a good time for the Hannah House. But if you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and message me and I'll answer them for you about the Manville Horror House. Um, and we also did the La Laurie Mansion tonight too. So, all right, thanks. Yeah, it's. I ended up closing my eyes for a second and trying to like just get rid of the headache because the dog was also barking at the same time and I was trying to do my show, so I was trying to like not yell and scream. So yeah, it was something earlier. My head still hurts and I don't know what's going on with my voice. It's been like this, like I swear it's almost like laryngitis because my voice will go completely out if I talk too much, like it is now. So I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here. I will see you guys all next week. We are doing the Die House in the Rose Hotel. Much love, everyone. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me.